Today is the day that the antiXTRA empire crumbles into nothingness. For today, I will be discussing the most controversial topic in the world right now, artificial intelligence. Am I qualified to speak on the technicalities of AI? Probably not. Am I qualified to speak on its use in video games, being a hardcore gamer since day numero uno? Of course I am. The AI debate has been ongoing for the past year or two, with companies laying off their employees in exchange for robots that are much cheaper and faster at working. In some industries, this can be effective, but in the creative industry, maybe not so much. AI doesn't have the ability to be creative. It can't have that originality that us humans can. It is nothing but a fraud, a trickster. The film industry, book industry, and TV industry all cannot be replaced with AI, unless companies purposefully want to make bad products, which would not surprise me with the epically shit run that Marvel is on right now. But if those industries cannot possibly be replaced with AI, neither can video games. So burning hot, fiery pits of hell, satanic spawn take. Maybe AI can enhance our gaming experience. Do I belong in Arkham Asylum for that opinion? Maybe, but just let me explain first. We're buying games for $70. That's a whole lot of cheese to be throwing away, especially since we don't have the guarantee that the game is good or to our taste. What I look for in games is immersion, a world to get lost in and forget about my divorce and losing the child custody battle. And some games do a great job of immersing me. Red Dead 2, The Elder Scrolls, The Sims are all alternate lives I have lived, but even they reach a point where I begin to see the same dialogue, or I run out of things to do, and each cycle of the day begins to feel the same. And Lord forgive me for this, but I believe AI can prolong that immersion. For me personally. Imagine if NPCs' lives were simulated via AI, and you could communicate with them. There are already mods that do this to some extent, such as the Skyrim AI mod, and there's also a Minecraft mod that allows you to chat to mobs. It's really primitive stuff, but a AAA studio could most definitely create something next generation in regards to NPCs. I've always loved games that allowed me to tell my own story, such as RimWorld and Crusader Kings to throw out a few, and I believe with the implementation of artificial intelligence in games, we could have an amazing sandbox experience, having the ability to befriend or make enemies with any NPC, persuade them to do any task for you, or just learn more about their character. There are some indie games that have tried to do this already, feeding the AI information about various characters and allowing the player to talk and learn about each character. But obviously, this type of technology is still in its fetus stage, so it can get a little freaky and even a little silly sometimes.
Are you aware that a couple years ago it was outlawed to use animals in the circus? I could have this entire operation shut down.
What?
I think that AI could just assist in the development of video games and could provide a personalized experience exclusive to each individual player. I don't know if you guys have ever tried this or even know of its existence, but there are several AI bots which basically allow you to create and play in any type of world you could imagine, kind of like Dungeons and Dragons. Novel AI and AI Dungeon are two of the biggest ones to do this, and I've had several phases where I was just hooked into role-playing in a fantasy world, with the AI developing the story for me, allowing me to interact with anyone and anything, and adjusting the story to my liking. That sort of thing is the closest I've come to world building, and it is amazing to be able to tweak every detail about every location and character. I like playing God, basically. Now, there are so many things that development studios could do with artificial intelligence. Another idea I've had would be to have AI-generated music. I'm not saying to allow the artificial intelligence to have free reign and do whatever the f they want with the soundtrack. The main theme, major story music, and such should absolutely be made by real people. But how about things like ambience or combat music? Take Yakuza. I fucking love Yakuza and its OST, but doesn't the combat music get kind of stale, especially when you're 20 hours into the game and constantly getting into fights with common thugs? That could all change with the help of AI. Developers could program a certain formula for the OST, feed the AI existing video game music, and let the AI generate a whole bunch of combat music, which preserves the intended sound of the game or series, but also means the player doesn't have to keep listening to the same song for hours on end. But that's just another idea I've had. There is so much potential if AI was to be used in the games industry, from music to gameplay to characters. My main point of this video is just to state how great AI would be for the longevity of a game. 50-hour RPGs could turn into 200-hour RPGs with AI-generated quests. We could have way bigger worlds to explore as well, but not in the same way as procedural generation. More like how Microsoft Flight Sim has the entire Earth to be explored, other games could do the same, with highly detailed locations. I don't know, I'm kind of just rambling about my hopes and dreams here. Now, if you're asking about employees and what will happen to them once AI becomes more prevalent in the industry, well, I'm sure you know the answer. Most companies will do whatever it takes to save some money, so I think it's pretty much an inevitability that a lot more people will be laid off. I don't think this is something that can be boycotted either. AI is going to develop and be adopted by every industry and market ever. The only way to stop these people from being fired would be through legal action, but I'm not a lawyer, and I don't think there's many laws in place concerning AI replacing people just yet. I'm just living in delusion town over here. I forgot to take my meds today. I'd just like to clarify that I'm not ride or die for AI, and I don't believe that AI will fix all of our problems. Quite on the contrary, actually. It'll cause a catalog of new issues. I believe AI just simply cannot replace the creative work of real people, but AI could still be used to assist said creative people in perhaps producing a large quantity of something like music, which would not be possible for a studio to do in a short amount of time. It's less about invading on the creativity of the developer and more about efficiency and creating a product with longevity in mind, if that makes sense. And I don't think every game will benefit from having artificial intelligence join the mix. There are certain games that have to be handcrafted, especially ones that are used to express the developer's creativity. I think RPGs, sandboxes, and simulation games are most likely to benefit from AI involvement, as they tend to focus on providing the player with a product that can be consumed for a much longer time than, say, a platformer or a linear story game. I'd like to hear some of your thoughts on this. Is there anything else that you think AI could do for games? And I know that a ton of you will go in the comments to talk about employees being laid off, but are there any other reasons you don't think AI should be used in the game industry? Now, here's a fun fact about raccoons. We will beat you to death with a metal pipe. Don't believe me? Look behind you. See ya.